Hi, it's the Sky Whisperers again. This is Alison and Teri, and we're here to discuss the astrology of July. And there's some interesting stuff coming up. Barbault's cradle, full and new moons, and of course the Mars-Uranus conjunction, which is happening quite soon. But before all that, we do need to mention that Terry and I have got a workshop lined up for you to discuss the nodal axis, which is changing signs from Virgo and Pisces into Leo and Aquarius. Now, this is a big deal. It only happens every 18 months, and we want to look at how it's going to impact your chart. So there'll be a presentation for the first hour, and then that'll be followed with discussions of individual charts. If you send yours into us, then we'll certainly be looking at yours. And it's available through Eventbrite. You can book it through there, and it's on the 18th of July, 4 p.m. UK time. So just check out whatever time that is in your time zone. It should be possible.
Yeah, that would be a really exciting event, and also we will be able to look at the probably upcoming eclipses in August related to the nodal axis as well. So it would be, I think, really wonderful. So as I say, more the merrier. So how many people can join us? It would be, I think, really wonderful. So July is really interesting. No, that it's starting already with a uh, big, I mean, like that
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, in July, I mean that what was happening that in, I mean, how did we finish the, for example, June is finishing big, like Jupiter moving into Leo. There is
Absolutely.
the full moon in Capricorn, and then Mercury retrograde. It finished big, and now there would be the July starting big. So what's going on the 1st of July? Let's see the sky.
Well, as you say, Jupiter moving into Leo, that's really the big news, sort of, and because this is a year's journey, isn't it? I mean, it was in Cancer for a long time. We got that whole sort of nurturing and family vibe about the sense of belonging in the past. And that's, of course, kind of continuing a little bit because the sun, which is ruling, dispositing that Leo in Cancer, Leo in Jupiter in Leo, sorry, it is still in Cancer. The sun's still in Cancer, so it's like there's an undercurrent still of the whole sort of belonging in the past and the nostalgia and the family, the emphasis on the family as well, I think, and where you come from, your tribe. So it's still there, but we're moving now into a more sort of personal kind of authenticity with Jupiter in Leo. This is an expressive sign. It's a much more outgoing sign, and it's about finding meaning now through self-expression and through creating. And yeah, it's a fiery, intuitive, inspiring sign.
I think towards the end of the July, yeah, like Jupiter moving into Leo and etc. When we look generally to the sky, there would be a very active energy because everything would be in the fire and air signs. I mean, at
Hmm.
least the outer planets and the social planets when we look at them, and that will make it like it's like, you know, more, I think, intuitive, and also there is more like all this communication and
Yeah.
ideas etc going around. So I think it would be more like extrovert
Yes,
extrovert feeling
definitely.
that will be coming out, I think, from the uh, start of the end of, I think, July. So I think we can maybe feel it in our lives as well. I mean, that kind of extrovert feeling.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And yeah, a sense of standing up and sort of saying who you are and this is what I stand for and here I am. And yeah, so I think that's definitely true. And it's an interesting shift for sure.
yeah.
So Mars is now in Gemini. Of course, Mars moves quite slowly generally through the chart, taking 2 years to do a tour. So it does mean something when it shifts signs, and now it's about to come into contact with Uranus. That's actually there we are. It's the third. Actually, the actual contact is the fourth, early in the morning in the UK and Europe. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and immediately it's sort of setting off this whole trine to Pluto. What do you make of that, Terry?
Yeah. The thing is that I think when we are thinking about um, the mindset, change of mindset coming
Mm,
through the Uranus, and it makes in a way, I mean, like kind of collaboration with the, I mean, courage maybe, and then the also our drive to express our ideas or like dig into our curiosity and everything. I think it could be something like a breakthrough of at an intellectual level more,
yeah,
because we are talking about an air sign, and of course there could be shifts, I mean, in the ideas, etc., because it's a mutable sign. So if the things don't work, and also I think it gives, I think, a bit of flexibility
definitely.
to this union, because I mean, if we think that things go sideways, then we can have a chance to shift. And also it's not something physical, it's more mental. So I think that the I think if there is any um, kind of I don't know, restriction or something going on, I mean, at least we can go over that. We have a
Yeah.
chance to do it through our minds, and we can do it like I mean, like quickly. I mean, so I think in that sense, and when it combines with Pluto in Aquarius, I think it's a complete transformation. And I think it could be in one hand, the change in the our minds and the way that we think, or the way that we in a way communicate, etc., could be really good for the society. Because if
Hmm.
we know, I mean, like to change our mindset, at least in a positive way, hopefully, then it
Yeah.
could be for the good of the collective as well. I mean, I think that could come in the most positive way. This could come out of this, I think.
Yeah, so changes in collective mindset and yeah, and of course it's going to be connected to goals as well, isn't it? And I was thinking as you were talking too that maybe as it connects up to Neptune and Pluto, there might be breakthroughs in something we've been trying to do for a long time. Connected with our sort of longer term goals, perhaps as as the connections with that Pluto and with Neptune, things that we've been sort of dreaming of, because Mars is obviously ruling that Neptune at the moment. Uranus is ruling Pluto, so there's a whole connection there between those planets. Um, so mindset, definitely ideas, communication, all that kind of thing. Yeah, but also just to do with personal goals, I think as well. Maybe especially if we do have planets around that 3 degrees or wherever that 3 degrees of the mutable signs or indeed the fixed or cardinal signs is in your chart, then we can look perhaps for some kind of breakthrough, I think, or some kind of realization that we need to take a different route and actually this could work. I think
I
it's
think it,
positive.
yeah, and I don't think so that, I mean, that the one thing that if there's anything like, Mars go forward, we
Mm,
have to pay attention that, I mean, that the Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is retrograde in this
true.
situation. So that will put the brakes. Whatever is going to happen, maybe it will kind of put the brakes and don't hurry. I mean, like we can think, we can reflect on, and
Hmm.
I think, can put our heart a bit into the process. But it's more in a
Definitely.
like, okay, it's like, okay, let's first think about it, contemplate. So I mean, it may slow down a breakthrough, but it may also slow down anything, I mean, like less positive happening as well. So I think that
That's true.
Mercury being retrograde, I think in a way, in every sense, seems like kind of a lifeboat in a way. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that it's like a good I think stopper there. I mean, I think I like the idea that Mercury retrograde in this situation, this way or that way.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. And I think Mercury is in a sense in charge of the whole configuration, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
yeah, so if you've got Mars in charge of Neptune and Uranus in charge of Pluto and Mercury in charge of both of them, then that sort of that imaginative Cancer vibe, actually, the reflective, self-protective Cancer vibe, is hopefully going to stop anyone doing anything too rash and to sort of think about it a little bit and to yeah to consider where it's going in the longer term. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's a really
exactly.
good point, actually. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, interesting. And then of course this moves forward, doesn't it? So that
Yeah.
Mars then connects directly with Pluto, sort of bringing that Uranian energy with it, sort of a precursor, if you like, to the actual Pluto-Uranus conjunction that comes trine that comes a little bit later in the month.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, and is connecting directly with Neptune as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just a one day thing. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. This whole process is kind of moving across a few days, sort of from the third to the sixth or seventh, probably when Neptune goes retrograde.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So there's Mars there on the third, and that's got a nice trine with the Sun and Moon as well. So it looks like a good day actually, that 5th of July.
Yeah.
And there's Mars moving coming away now from that configuration actually into Gemini proper. There we go. And then as we move to the 7th,
Hmm.
Neptune goes retrograde. I'm going to move it onto the 8th because it's obviously later in the day and we can see that Neptune's retrograde.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which again, I mean, these big planets going retrograde, I think it is quite a big deal socially. It's something there to do with our dreams, our ideals, dreams and ideals about the hero. It was what we were talking about before, and maybe just moving back to reflect on how that might play out in real time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's, I mean, it's in the end, I mean, I think with that, when Saturn and Neptune conjunction happened back in February 20 at the 0 degrees, we said like going back those factory settings, etc. And I think there was a quite a lot of energy pumped into that. It's like, like this is also, I mean, it's like, oh, I can do this. Oh, there is something like this. But I think it's a good period, I mean, to say like, okay, you have to, I mean, like, now think, I mean, like you were very hyped. I mean, like everything, yes, great ideals, dreams, and you have imagination, and all this inspiration to go forward as an individual. You are, and also with the Saturn in Aries, you are putting your personal boundaries, etc. And
Hmm.
that's a process. And then, but it's like, are we too fast? Or maybe in some parts we have shown too much chivalry. I think, no, that like a chevalier, it's like going like I can do everything like that. And we have to understand if we are like the, the if we are going uh, towards the what do they call, I mean, the I completely forgot. Anyway, so I mean, we have to, I mean, reflect on if we were too fast, if we were, I mean, like too courageous, or if we were too driven and everything. And we have to about our dreams and our ideals, and whatever area of life that is. Maybe we have to like sit and see if we can make any kind of uh, um, reconsideration. I mean, like
Hmm.
what we have done so far, and or any corrections or any changes if possible, I mean. And then after the retrograde period finishes, I think we can continue full on, and I think we
Mm.
might have different ideals, maybe different dreams or different approach to them.
Definitely, I did different ways of expressing that Neptune in Aries for sure, you know. I think this is definitely a time to when hopefully people are going to be or those people in charge are going to be thinking that maybe the wars weren't really the way forward, but we'll see,
Mhm.
eh?
Let me see.
Yeah, so this is moving on, and Neptune's just avoided actually coming to that the conclusion of that sextile there, which is interesting. I think it did, didn't it? Avoided it, but we move on anyway.
Mm.
And now we have Venus moving into Virgo. Where's Venus? Here she is, down there in Virgo. So from Leo, which is about the expressive self, the hey, look at me, this is me, I'm doing this, women's power, if you like, women getting out there and to a much more thoughtful and reflective, organizational mode, really. So this is almost like I always feel with Virgo that it's where you put everything in order, where you sort it all out, where you do all the stuff that you were talking about and kind of being expressive about when Leo was there. Then you actually get on and do it when you move into Virgo. And Virgo is supremely competent, supremely capable and very discerning. So, what out of that Leo stuff am I actually going to keep? Because maybe you went to the shops, the sales, and you bought loads of stuff. And now you're looking at it in Virgo, and you're a bit like, well,
I exaggerated a bit. I
maybe
put them down.
maybe actually now we need to do a bit of triage, a bit of sorting here because this is not what we thought. Or some mending and some changing and stitching and yeah, all the kinds of things. Anyway, just really putting stuff back in order and yeah, I think it's such a good sign for that Virgo. And it's
Yeah.
training, of course, now as it goes in, everything does, all the earth signs will be making that nice aspect to Chiron. So there's an emphasis. Sorry, Terry, I'm talking. I'll give
No,
you
no, no, no,
I'll
no,
give you a
no,
chance
no.
in a minute to get a word in edgeways. So there's this emphasis on our planet as well, I think, and on being careful with things, on looking after things, preserving things in the natural environment, which is very Virgo, of course, and very Taurus. So maybe this is a time when, after all these heat waves, we're actually thinking, well, what can we do on a personal level to actually, look after the environment that we live in? Mm.
Yeah, nah, I think so. I mean, like the interesting thing is that its connection with the nodal axis, and I wonder if it's only like daily type of like let me organize around, or it's like let me also with its relation with Chiron, is it anything related with the past and then connection? I mean, like what I'm organizing, is it only like something like physical or practical, or is it something also I'm organizing because the nodal axis is going to move, is I'm already getting ready and make sure that I tidy up before I step to the next level, I think, in a way,
Hmm.
because it's like its connection with the past and connection with the Chiron, which is also like the rainbow bridge that connects the past and the future and the North Node. And when we see all of it, is it as if I'm like kind of like tidying up things of
Hmm.
the past, of the whatever
Yeah,
is coming from my
yeah.
comfort zone or whatever coming from my birth or before, and now I'm ready to move on to the next stage. And I think relating to them in a more, I think maybe not too much in an emotional way, but
Hmm.
more like a practical way, and
Yeah.
whatever is has to be sorted out, it's now. Let's sort it out and let's move on. I think it's kind of a feeling like that as well.
Yeah, I really like that. Yes, as the nodes change, you prepare to change signs. Yeah, yeah, sorting out all the stuff that's been associated with this phase, ready to turn on to move on to the next one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And and coming along with that, actually, then we have the new moon, which I have a chart for, so I will put that up on the 14th of July. So there we are. There's the new moon in Cancer. Um, and Virgo's moved on a little bit now. Venus in Virgo's moved on a little bit now, squaring Uranus. So that's fine, debating the ideas and the mindset and trying to work out how to actually organize all the changes that Uranus is kind of throwing at her. That's fine. Uh, yeah, new moon in the sign of the crab. It's quite self-protective, actually, isn't it? Quite new initiatives in terms of where we've come from and where we're going, but it's also a dreamy, imaginative sign, Cancer. So intuitive, if you like. So I think there's something positive here about creating stuff and nurturing and
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it could be. I mean, also Mercury is still retrograde,
indeed.
but I think it could be something like also any creative writing, talking, that kind of project is, I think, is going together with that. Also for the people who are in like writing memoirs or that kind of thing,
Definitely a
that
memoir
could
writing
I
thing.
mean like that it can be a, I think, good period. I mean, it's Mercury retrograde, of course. It's a bit kind of conflicting, no? You say that you don't start new things in Mercury retrograde, but there's a new moon that is like combining with the Mercury retrograde, but it is still good. I mean, like, I think at least we can think about starting new things. It shouldn't be happening now, like, I start something new right
Mm.
now. But I think it already, the process can start in that sense. I think it can be interesting to see how it this heightens up 18 months later during the full moon.
Well, maybe he's thinking about how you might start something.
Yeah, it's
You,
like
you
a,
know, this new project, which could be to do with your home or your family or something. How might you go about it this time? You know, maybe you've been trying different things and they haven't worked. So so how might you go about it? Might be to do with, you know, something to do with the past in your family. It might be to do with a creative project, something you're dreaming up, and now you're rethinking, trying new ideas out. Okay, well, where can we actually go with this? And
Mhm.
where, and you maybe plan to start it later in the month when Mercury turns direct. Hmm.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's in any case in a 9 days, so you can give it a like a period. In any case, crescent
A
comes, and
gestation
then
period.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a station period. I think in 10 days time you can just, if you already collected some ideas or some things about what you are going to do next,
Hmm.
maybe just put it on hold a bit, and then after that it would be, I think, easier to get on with what you are planning to do, really.
Yeah. Yeah, so give yourself some time with this one. I think that's where
Yeah.
we're coming from, really. Yeah, definitely. Oops, let's swap that back. Okay, so we're moving
Mm.
forwards now through July, and we're coming up to this famous, much discussed Barbo's cradle. Goodness me, I
Yeah.
wonder what Barbo would make of it if he were alive now. The amount of discussion that's gone on. So it's really kind of kicking in. I mean, anytime from the sort of 17th, 18th of July. 18th, by the way, don't forget our workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah, join on Eventbrite, and we'll discuss this a little bit too, of course, but mainly the focus on that nodal axis shift. And here we've got this cradle with Jupiter being the instigator, if you like, now, the one that's kind of kicking off um, the outer planets. So that's I could try and take out. I'm sure you've all seen pictures of this cradle, so I'm not going to do it. But we have the
It's
opposition
something like
between
that. It looks like a what is it, a trapezoid or something like that, because it's
yeah, a
something like
trapezoid.
this,
Yeah,
something,
absolutely.
and then goes like that. I'm like, oh, okay. Why do we call it
Okay.
crater, or why don't we call it geometric thing? Like, I don't know.
Okay.
I
So
forget.
here we are. Look, here it is.
Yeah, yeah. That's the.
And so it's essentially Jupiter in opposition to Pluto. And we have the trine to Uranus in Gemini, to the sorry, sextile to Uranus in Gemini. There's Neptune in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius. There we are. So it's this lovely double trine, the three sextiles and the opposition. So it's taking up essentially half of the chart, half of the sky, if you like, in a fire and air kind of extravaganza, which is actually, I mean, this now coming up in the next couple of days here is the first manifestation. I think this today actually on the 18th was the first manifestation. There we are of 5 days, 5 passes of that Pluto-Uranus trine. So it goes on actually moving up along the degrees to about 7 or 8 degrees in May 2028 of Aquarius and Gemini, and it continues this trine, and they are never both direct, interestingly. There is always one of them retrograde. Even the very last one where the trine is exactly as, I can't remember, either Pluto or Uranus are turning retrograde. So that
Mhm.
in itself is quite interesting. You never get just a positive flow. It's always a positive, but there's a check.
Yeah,
Anyway, there
yeah.
you see the cradle. I'm going to put the other planets back now. Um,
The thing is that I think that we were discussing before we started the recording. This is the configuration in the sky. Of
yeah.
course, it can have mundane impacts, and we don't know what kind of, because it's like if we talk about mundane, we have to also always see how even you are talking about a country, we have to see the how it interacts with the country's chart, and it's the same for the individuals. We need
Yes.
to see how it interacts with the, like in the individual charts, because if there are nice aspects that is happening, there's a nice touch, like
Hmm.
coming through these planets, which are mostly, they are what we call social or transpersonal planets, more generational planets. Then yeah, it could have a positive impact, but we don't know how it interacts with our chart. So I think I can understand the, because based on, I think, Barbault's previous predictions and how they manifested into real life, I can understand why the people are very in a way excited about what is going on, and it's all positive, but we always have to put it, take it down to the individual level and see how it can impact us. I think it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely right, Terry. Yeah. Yeah, and Adam Summer actually was talking about how this same configuration, which happens every couple of 100 years, sort of thing. Last time it was all about the growth of industrialization, and now
Mhm.
it's about the growth, if you like, of AI and that kind of communication. So it changes the world in a different way. Last time, perhaps it must have been in different signs, obviously. But so these are world-changing configurations for sure. But that they stretch over long periods, and unless there is some particular impact on your chart, then it's probably not going to be such a big deal as everyone's kind of imagining. There's not
Yeah,
going to be rainbows suddenly all over the sky or anything.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
But
exactly.
for sure, if you do have personal planets or angles around these 3 or 4 degrees, maybe 5 degrees, then then this could be breakthrough time for you, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have to see.
So we move on. Yeah. So that was the Uranus-Pluto trine, and then Jupiter opposing Pluto, which is very much about personal authenticity in the face of social change, if you like, in the face of society, isn't it? Who am I within the group? That kind of discussion, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, how do I fit in? I think
How do I
what is
fit in?
going on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah,
how do I
exactly.
stand out?
Yeah, I mean, it's like even I mean, like I think when we are standing out, we have to find a way to fit in. I think that's the dilemma. I think in the opposition, that I mean, like while I'm doing this, I have to consider the other part. So how do I do it? I mean, how do I
Yeah.
manage both sides? I mean, like there is a change that's going on. Like for example, like you are a I don't know, you are a creative artist and you want to bring more something more to the world with your creations, etc., and then you are using manual stuff. I mean, still pattern like this and like this. And on the other side, there is this transformation that is going on through AI, etc. So how do I integrate both of them? I think sometimes it comes to that point as well. Of course, I mean, I think it's like, yes, you can use AI tools, but you have to still contain your authenticity and your creativity. We have to see your signature at the end of the day within all
Hmm.
this,
Yeah. Yeah,
that kind of
exactly.
thing.
How do I remain authentic in the face of all this kind of AI stuff? And how do I make it clear that this is my authentic self and my authentic work? Yeah, absolutely. It's a challenge actually, and that certainly does, especially as it ties into the communication and changing of mindset of Uranus and the creativity of Neptune there. It definitely is all connected.
Yeah, yeah,
Complicated times. I was reading something, an article about Dave Eggers, who's a writer, and he said very simply, he was very clear. He said if AI wrote it or painted it or drew it or designed it, it's not art. It's done by
yeah,
machine. That's it.
yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah,
Something, yeah, exactly. I mean, like,
but it's a question for sure.
mm,
And we move on as ever, and that's always true that we move on.
yeah, exactly. We move on. That's what we do. So we come to the 22nd, when the sun
Moves into
will,
Leo.
yeah, Leo, yes. Leo season, yay, for the
And
Leos, yeah.
immediately squares Chiron. So there's that challenge to Chiron. Um, and again, I think this keeps coming back to, um, our planet, our wound to our sort of resources and our this Chiron in Taurus. Um, if in Aries it was about the wound to how we go forward and assert ourselves, then in Taurus it has to be about our planet, our environment, our bodies too. What are we putting into our bodies, all that kind of thing. And as all the planets come through and aspect that Chiron, I think it becomes highlighted in a different way. So we may become aware of that again as that sort of comes across,
Exactly.
you
Yes.
know. So we start looking a little bit more at our diets, or we start thinking about what we can do to change things just on a personal level.
I think, yeah, at the end of the day, if you think that, like, I also sometimes catch myself buying processed food, etc. And it's like, yeah, that yesterday I was saying I bought it, but I'm like, okay, you should get the fresh ingredients there. You shouldn't do this. I mean, it's like, because it's like it takes time and this, etc. But at the end of the day, I was like, okay, that you should stop this. I'm it I'm buying it. That you should stop this. But it's I think that the in a way dilemma. I mean, I think like everything is so easy. I mean, made is made easy for you. I mean,
Mm,
like this. So I think it's very hard to go back, but I think we should
mm,
find a way to go back. I mean, to protect everything, including, I think, starting from ourselves. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, indeed. Yes. And I mean, when we look at it around July, you start thinking about the harvest and those kinds of things and
yeah,
wonder, what's happening there and farming and the crisis there. It's very difficult for people to make money out of food and it's really hard work farming.
yeah, yeah,
There's so many issues here we won't go into, of course, but I definitely think the processed food is a really good example, actually. And it is really easy. And you think, oh, I'll just do it this time. And then the next time you just do it this time. Just
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah,
And that's something
exactly.
that we're passing on, of course, to our kids and, the people that we share it with as well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So,
So yeah, the sun into Leo. It's the summer now, hot summer, summer holidays, and so bright
yeah,
sunshine outside. This is an extrovert sign, of course, inspiring and inspired. So
yeah.
it's there to be enjoyed. I think it's creative, a little bit fragile, Leo. Sometimes, it needs quite a lot of um, encouragement to be itself. Not so, no, not encouragement, but recognition.
Recognition, yes,
Yeah.
recognition,
Yeah,
yes.
you did great there, Leo. Well done. Yeah, oh, thanks for that. Yeah. And then we're all very happy. And then we
Yeah, no,
continue doing it and we inspire.
yeah, exactly. You cheer
Okay.
me up, I will cheer you up back,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And I'll do it even bigger and more so because I'm Leo.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the point that Mercury, everyone should be happy, will go direct.
Yeah.
Yay. So
Indeed.
that, I mean,
Actually,
like,
sorry, I missed that. That was 2 days ago. That was
yeah,
on the
that's fine.
23rd.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
fine. I mean,
yeah, 23rd it actually goes direct to Mercury. Yes, so that is good news. Yes, and can start thinking about doing all those things that we were thinking about at the new moon, perhaps. Anyway, even if we're not quite doing them yet.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It
Sure.
would be like now the move forward, whatever we are thinking about.
And where
Then
are we now?
nodes will
Saturn is
change.
preparing to go retrograde, and indeed it just has. That's right, it did that
Yeah,
on the 26th.
yeah.
So this clock's set for the morning, but Saturn turns retrograde later on the 26th
Hmm.
at 14 degrees, 44 minutes of Aries. So yeah, so if you've got anything around that point, then you may well feel that as a bit of a break on whatever it is that you're doing, actually. Saturn retrograde can be a bit complicated, I think, sometimes, especially for Aquarius, perhaps Aquarius and Capricorn. Um, the retrograde's always when the planetary ruler goes retrograde, the ruler of a sign, then the planets in that sign tend to be affected. So I think that's of interest if you are a Capricorn or have lots of things in Capricorn.
No, Aquarius, yeah, that's true.
But
That's
it's
true.
about rethinking boundaries, isn't it? Again, we're coming back to this self-assertion thing and about our battles, choosing which battles to fight. How are we going to fight them in Aries? Yeah, just
And also how to use the time, I think, like, because you start getting, I
good
think,
point.
very enthusiastic about everything. Then, I mean, like, it's like time flies by, and I think that's a good period. Like, where do I actually have to channel my energy and everything? I mean, it's like I'm doing something, I'm building up something. I'm like maybe maturing myself up in something, and then, but what, I cannot do hundreds of things, so I have to choose one or two and use my time in a way wisely, as the Saturn tells me to do. So no, doing it in a wise way, I mean, using that time, I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Yeah, and rethinking our goals as well. We were plodding towards this, and now mm, we're having a think about that maybe, is that the right thing to be plodding towards? Or going towards, let's consider that. I had a really good example of Saturn in Aries actually the other day when somebody I know went on a really, really long bike ride, signed up for a fantastically long bike ride across the country from one side to another. Um,
Okay.
and without doing enough training.
Mm,
But he has a lot of planets in Capricorn, really stubborn. Now carried on and on and on and did really well. Didn't finish the challenge, but did really well. But kind of wasn't in peak position in on peak form really for doing it. So in a way, it was the stubbornness that got him through in a sense. And I thought it was a really good Saturn in Aries example. And now that's going retrograde maybe and rethinking, well, maybe I shouldn't actually sign up for anything like that until I've actually got into shape and made sure I
yeah,
can finish it.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. It's a very literal, yeah, I think so. So
Well, these things are literal as well as symbolic, aren't they? I mean, that's
yeah,
how
yeah,
they
yeah,
come out in
yeah,
life in so many
yeah,
different ways.
yeah. Which is the nice part, I think, of the astrology.
Yeah, absolutely. All the different ways that you can see the symbolism. So
And
that was
here
the
we,
sun, by the way, as well, sort of linking into that this Barbault's cradle. Now we've got, as Saturn goes retrograde, we've also got the Sun-Pluto opposition.
mhm,
With its always undertones of power struggles. Every time you get something connected with Pluto and the individual confronting the collective there,
yeah, yeah,
and tying in at the same time though to Uranus in Gemini. So there's inspiration, creativity. How do I stand out? How do I shine?
yeah,
How can I create something in this world where there's so much going on and yeah,
yeah.
difficult. It is difficult.
Yeah. And here we already see the nodal axis changing signs, I think.
Yes, that's right. That is in fact the same day, isn't it,
Yeah,
as the
27th,
Sun
yes.
opposes Pluto. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
So that's an important shift, as we mentioned, from ideas about service. Pisces and Virgo is the axis of service. How do I serve in a practical sense? And then what spiritual service can I give? What does my soul need? Um, and it's moving on to more thoughts about how does the individual express itself, him or herself, in the collective.
mhm.
So I
The
think
foundation, in a way, the foundation where we step on or where we come from, I think completely shifts. I mean, I think it becomes,
yes.
I mean, in the end, from Virgo going back to Leo, it's completely a different vibe and energy. I mean, Virgo at the end of the day, it's like as we say, service, etc. It's like we are talking about there's a dedication. I don't say that there is no dedication in Leo, but is it
Hmm.
for the society or anyone? I think the more it's like about yourself. I mean, I think the foundation is completely changing in that sense, and the
Yes.
understanding where we come from. Where we go also changes. I mean, like it's like with the when you go from Virgo, okay, you have this very steady foundation, and you go to Pisces, that to a more spiritual, from like for the better good. You are
Hmm.
trying to do something. There is also collective sense in Aquarius, but I think in Aquarius there is this a bit of flavor of Leo as well, because Aquarius in the end is for society, but you have to want that your word is also heard in a way. I don't
Hmm.
know if you
Yeah.
agree. I mean, like it's like because they come up with their ideas, they have their different way of approaching things. It's maybe for making reforms, etc. But there is an still an individual there. So it's like it's a very interesting, I think, shift in the sense. There is still, I think, collective there, but there is a lot of us within that collective as well.
And the rulers change as well, of course. So now this North Node is ruled, as it were, by Uranus and Gemini. So that's a very different vibe to the Neptune in Aries that was ruling the
Mhm.
um the collective, the North Node before. And we have the South Node ruled by the Sun, which will change, of course, as that sort of moves around the chart. But yes, I agree with you. I mean, each sign moving from one sign to the next, there's always a dramatic change, isn't there? It's completely different from the one before and after it. So Virgo, very discerning, very service oriented, very behind the scenes in some ways. And then there's Leo, which is really sort of out there and um, individualistic and concentrating on this is me. So I think when we come to it, Terry, we're
Yeah,
going to have a really interesting discussion about this actually, and
yeah.
I'm looking forward to it on the 18th.
Yeah. Also, I mean, we have to, I mean, like, we don't, of course, tell all our
No,
fixed,
exactly,
etc.
exactly.
Here, but I mean, like, I think the shift from mutable to fixed, we also will focus on that and what it may mean, because it would be really interesting to find that shift in the way of approaching stuff as well. I think that will be for the workshop.
Yeah.
Who will join?
Exactly, and it's also changing the eclipses too, so that's also something to think about.
Yeah, especially
Anyway,
I think the people with the fixed signs, I mean, for the regarding the workshop, I think they would be much more impacted by all these eclipses that is coming up in Leo Aquarius axis, and also
probably
in the fixed sign Taurus, Scorpio. They are not excluded from that, and they would be impacted with the nodal axis shift as well. I mean, so it's good to keep in mind if anyone has those placements in their charts.
that's very true. Thank you. And then we move on to the full moon, which I think is the last thing we have to talk about this
Aquarius.
month. There we are, full moon at 6 degrees 30 Aquarius, and that's on the 29th of July. That's 4:30 in the afternoon in France, so 3:30 in the afternoon in the UK. And it's exactly with Jupiter, which is really interesting, I think. A full moon with Jupiter conjunct the sun. So, wow, we've got a Leo, a double Leo whammy here, haven't we?
Yeah.
Opposite, of course, opposite Pluto. So, and still tying in within just a degree, really, or a degree and a half to that Barbault's cradle configuration with the Gemini, Uranus, and Neptune in Aries there. So that's super interesting as well. Um, so much now about trying to express yourself, I think, and how to do that within society in this full moon. I mean, full moons are always about decisions, aren't they? Did you look at your moon families, Terry? Because that's always interesting.
Yeah, that I think we have to go. I mean, like nearly 18 months back from this time, and we have to see where I think the new moon in Aquarius, probably it will fall more or less probably 2025, end of
Okay.
January, beginning of February, something around there. And then it's like it was a new moon in Aquarius. So what kind of different ideas I think we came up? I mean, what kind of maybe unusual or extraordinary things that we have decided to plant, or it could be something about also, I mean, like it could be relating to the of course society, but as well as it could be about like how we approach personally to life. I mean, that kind of shift as well in the mindset, because I mean, if you are doing things in the normal, traditional way, then you can say that, like, okay, let me go making not very traditional, maybe out of traditions, out of the box thinking,
Yeah, for
and then
sure.
approaching things in that way. I think it's interesting, and it's this full moon is getting all this, as you say, this power struggles, and
Yeah,
the conflict between ourselves, our journey in a way. I mean, like, Jupiter in Leo is about the, in a way, journey, our authentic creative journey also. I mean, like, what are we going towards together with ourselves? And then on the other hand, we have it's like the uh, changes, all these maybe putting down structures, taboos, going down and rebuilding new things within the society. So how do we make them meet so that this dilemma or the opposition or the polarity between us and the society can be minimized, so that the rest of the journey can be smoother? Of course, this is a fixed thing. I don't know if we can move forward that easily. I think it would be like much challenging than if it's a mutable sign,
yeah.
full moon. But still, we have to push forward, because we have to go to the, I mean, second half of the journey, and I think we have to make a lot of effort to make this happen. I mean, in this sense, with all
Or
this,
whatever it is
I
that we
think,
want to do to express ourselves
yeah,
requires effort to make it happen. Yeah, I think you're
yeah,
right there.
yeah, yeah,
Interestingly, there's a Mars-Venus square at the same time in the mutable signs.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, which is just showing. I think the sort of adaptability is necessary there, and there might be ideas and organization that need to be put in place. There's quite a lot around this full moon that's um, yeah, I that's hard to get out. Yes, I think that's
yeah,
what you're saying. There's a feeling of something a little bit stuck about it with that Pluto there. But of course it has already passed the Plutos, so that in itself is positive. But if we look here, then we can see that there's this finger of Thor's hammer here, sorry, that's heading
yeah,
down to
yeah, yeah,
that moon as well, which is a sort of a tension and then a tense energy that really needs to be relieved by um, connecting, I think, actually, connecting with people, maybe connecting with people through and connecting with ideas, because Aquarius as well is about networks and things. And this is the individual within the group network, and there's all this organization with this Mars and Venus here that's sort of focusing down on that network and how the individual is operating within it and how they can be fulfilled. I think there's a sense of how are we going to be manage all these different things, all these energies, so that we arrive at a position of personal fulfillment too, and something that has meaning and that we can believe in.
yeah, exactly, exactly. I think it's really important. I mean,
It's an interesting full moon. I think, I mean, they're
yeah,
pretty exact, those
yeah, that
sesquiquadrates actually. So yeah. They
that's
actually
that's
they're within
forming
three
the,
it's 3 minutes of arc, both of them. It's
yeah,
quite
yeah,
astonishing
yeah,
to the
yeah,
moon. So this is
yeah,
a real power dynamic here.
yeah,
I do think so. And I think our networks here are going to be just so important actually for us. Networks, people we know, talking to people, um, and just making sure that we really are informed about what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it.
yeah. That's really important. It's like that trying to form a balance. I mean, in a way, I mean, I think it would be really, there could be lots of s- strains or frustrations, etc. And but we need to find, I think, a way to go to overcome that. I think through as much as communication and talking through things
Yeah.
possible. I think that could be a good way to continue the
And I
journey.
found the new moon that connects to this, by the way. Sorry, that's just what I was looking at. I'll just put it up quickly. It was actually, yeah, it was in January on the 9th, January 2025.
Okay.
And this was I think this was probably the new moon that came with that. Oh, no, we don't have it there. What's going on there?
Mm,
Okay, well, we'll forget about that because we're not.
okay, 9th of January, because it would be Capricorn.
No,
Probably
no,
it
no,
would be
sorry.
it should be end of January or
Yeah,
February,
yeah, no, it's the
probably. Yeah,
29th. That's fine.
yeah,
29th of January, thanks. Yeah. 29th of January there. There we are. That was the one I was looking for. Actually, it should be an hour later because we're in France and I forgot to take that into account.
yeah, yeah. That's interesting. That's an interesting one as well. I mean, like
Well,
again,
it's also connecting to Jupiter, interestingly, isn't it? So,
yeah,
and
yeah,
also sort of widely to Pluto too. So it has those things involved in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway, so anything that you might have begun around that point, maybe
yeah.
coming to fulfillment now or another stage in the journey. So
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I mean, like whatever you have done so far, it can be now completed. You may complete one stage, but that doesn't mean that whole journey stops here. But you can maybe continue to the second stage or whatever
Hmm.
you were doing in that certain area of life. I mean, where those plants, those seeds were planted in a way. I think it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, And also, I think that we have to really consider, put into consideration that in this sky, Venus is only the one in the mutable sign. So I think we have to be
And
find
Mars.
a way to Mars also. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
because we've got this.
I took my word back because I thought that it was only Venus, and that's fine. Then more or less the modality sense, I think it's nice, but okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah,
Shall we leave it there?
yeah,
I think that's us done really.
yeah,
And so we move on. Oop, let's have a look. 30th of July.
yeah. How the month finishes now.
And and then we come to the end of July.
Yeah.
So I think that's all actually for this month. And thank you for joining
Wow.
us.
Yeah.
That seemed to, yeah, we seem to like spend quite a lot of time on that. So yeah, I hope you've listened and you're still there at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Exactly.
we've actually got a great interview coming up, haven't we, with Steve Judd
Yes, and
that we are going to be putting out very shortly. So look out for that. And he was amazing. We really enjoyed it, didn't we? It was really
yeah,
fun.
it was really fun. I mean, I have never met him in my life before, but I think it was a good, nice first introduction. So I really enjoyed the conversation and everything that
Me
comes
too. I really liked
from him.
him.
Like, yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Okay, so that's brilliant. Don't forget the workshop. We'll put the link in the blurb and we look forward to seeing you there.
yeah,
Okay, that's
exactly.
bye. See you
Thank
again
you.
soon.
Bye, bye, bye.